Kangaroos podcast. Tonight, I'm back with the one and only Mark. Hello. Mark, welcome back. And we had an intra club match last week, and we won't go into the result or anything like that. But I want to get your thoughts more of the positions of some of the players. Did you see the game, Mark?
I did. I've watched it twice, Dean. That's how desperate I've been, or starved I've been of football since the end of last year, or how hopeful I might be for this year. But because I watched it and I felt positive, and then I read a lot of negative comments and thought, oh, maybe I've been delusional. I need to go back and watch this again, to get it, maybe perhaps a different view of it. But I watched it again, and I came away just as positive as I was the first time. So, I mean, talking about the results a bit is probably a bit silly, given there's only one result there's going to be. But
That's right.
and also both teams know the way the other team's going to play, so that also makes it a bit distorted as well. So, because every player on the ground's been training the same way for the whole season. But I like the pressure, just in terms of the overall look of the game. There was still some skill errors, obviously, but yeah, I overall I was excited by what I saw.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fumbles early as well. Players are just rusty, and you got to get. It's like work it out. You got to go to the gym eventually and start your
Yeah,
workouts, and you're always a bit rusty, a bit sore for those next first few days, and then it gets easier after time. So, and that's what I feel will happen. Just get dusting off the cobwebs, and even club matches against Melbourne and Collingwood, it'll be pretty much the similar. So I'm not going to look too much at the result. It's just about getting run into some players' legs, and some players need it more than others. That's for sure. But let's get some thoughts on some players now. Zach Becker. Now he looks like one of the players that's going to get an SSP spot. I'd have to think it was him. I'd have to say he's hot favourite. He's a good user of the ball, elite kick, a Sturt Premiership player. It's an area of the ground that is a concern. I feel he would be more of a third defender if eventually he did play, because I don't see him as a key position player, Mark, but I think he could be a good third defender that could have some intercept qualities as well.
yeah. Given Archer's injured and Gota, and we're all like every North supporter should be hoping Gota can have a good run at it, because he's a very talented player and was having a very hot pre-season before he got another niggle. But I think he's back up for the fact Archer's gone down, and we're not like we hope Go to get through the next 6 months, but that can't be guaranteed. So he's a perfect replacement for those two. I think he's about 6'2", can play tall or small. So he feels he's similar to the other two, that they both play that way themselves. And the benefit, the bonus is he's a great booming kick as well. But he looked good the other day. There's no doubt about that.
No, he did. Yeah, his skills, were quite good. He pinpointed some passes. We've probably seen a lot of the other players probably miss those targets.
Well,
But
he'd only been with the squad for a couple of days. So
yeah, maybe a week or so.
yeah, not easy.
Trained a couple of training sessions, and yeah,
Yeah,
he looked quite good. So yeah, there's a possibility, and there's an opening there for him if the club decide to go that way. But now we'll talk about the three tours. There's been a lot of talk about that in the media. I think we talked about a person that was talking about it off air. Common, Logan, Pink. I thought all did well, but they make me nervous with the possessions, Mark, especially when they've got space. Do you get nervous like me when you see them trying to pinpoint a pass out of the back 50? Because I don't know, I feel like they're going to miss targets and they're going to be prone to the bad error. And I've seen that a couple of times last weekend.
yeah. Look, I love Charlie Comben as a both. I think he's a ripping bloke, and I think he's a ripping footballer, and I think he's a great person to have at the club, and I think he's a great leader. I'm glad he's in the leadership group. He didn't have a great day coming out. His marking was fantastic.
Yeah.
He didn't do much wrong at all, to be fair, but he just kicking when he wasn't under pressure wasn't great, and it probably made it look worse. So I'd expect him to clean that up. I'm not too concerned about it. I think I thought Logue got better as the game went on, and I think Toby Pink. I don't look. My view on Toby is he will be a great person to have at the club for the next 4 or 5 years, but I would rather see him be, and this is more from a talent perspective, not an effort perspective, but I would rather see Will Dawson overtake him in the back line and then thread goal, potentially after that. But I think he'll be reliable, albeit not be outstanding in the back line. I think he'll be very reliable and it'll be worth having there, over the long term, as support if those guys go down. But I thought Logue was okay. I think his intercepting got really good towards the second half, and I think Comben was always good with that. I think he does have to clean up his disposal, but I think it was messy in the first quarter, and that distorts the view a bit. I think it got better after that.
Yeah, just on Toby Pink, I think you summed it up pretty well. That he's almost a placeholder till someone comes along that's better. We're hoping it's Will Dawson, or maybe it's a Blake thread goal in 2 or 3 years' time once he develops. But yeah, like you said, he doesn't do much wrong. I think he just plays a role for the team, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need those role players and depth players like himself. But he is 28 years old already, so we don't know.
Is he 28 already?
Yeah, I mean, we got him in when he was 26, so...
I didn't know. Okay. Well, look, I think he'll be, for the next 3 or 4 years, I think he'll be really valuable, but... and I think culturally he's great for the club as well, but you want those guys who'll do everything. The guy gets injured, another one comes in and they'll play their role. He won't ever do much wrong. He'll always give 100%, so... I'm never going to criticise someone like that. And look, and he's proven himself to be better than probably what we thought he would be. And he might go again to another level this year. Some guys are late developers, so he hasn't played a lot of AFL games either. So it's hard to improve until you play at that level and get more experience at that level. So even with his age, he's probably still going to improve.
He's probably only played 25
AFL
games
that's right.
when you think about it.
Yeah.
Late bloomer, that's for sure. So, yeah, well, I think his first year he ended up in the forward line the last few weeks of the season, I remember. So, yeah.
I'm sure Manor at Geelong's probably 27, 28. And
yeah, he's 28.
There you go. And he's playing in bloody... playing for the Vics. So, yeah, things change. But, Pink's he's had a lot of pre-seasons under his belt. He's strong. He's reliable. He'll do everything he can. He won't let us down. So, look, he's not going to be the most skillful player, maybe not most talented. He's not a Charlie Comben who's got this huge leap. He's 199 centimeters, and look, to be honest, I want to see Shotgun. He looks good to me. He looks big too. He's a big boy. I can only see him getting better, and Whitlock and even Trembath, those guys will be able to play both ends. So I don't think the backline thing is bad as what people say.
Yeah, one particular person. What do you make of Cooper Harvey in the back line? First glimpse of him, were you impressed, or do you think he's still got a way to go?
Oh, to be fair to him, he probably needs 10 or 11 games playing. Well, 10 or 11. See if 11 will make the difference. But he probably needs a dozen games playing there. Get used to it. He's been good whenever he's been down there, but I think the hard part for him will be getting the balance between defence and attack. He's very good with the ball in hand. His decision-making is good. He's tough. I'm not worried about that. And I think he's probably going to be better at defending than a couple of others down there. Like, he might be the one that can handle the dangerous small forwards because he's got a low centre of gravity like his dad. He hasn't quite got the same speed, but he reads it very well, and I think he will get better and better in that position. I do think it's the right decision to play him there. I think he would have been a very good forward as well, but we've just got too many of them now.
I think even Will Thursfield said that during the game.
Yeah.
We've got too many forwards, so we're going to try him in the back line. Aidan Core talked him up. Good user of football. I like that he's a proactive player too, Mark. Very similar to his old man. Takes a game on, plays a game on instinct, doesn't overthink it.
Great.
He just needs a lot of work with his one-on-one work. I think there was a couple of times he got... I think he got
He's
outmarked by
he's
Zach
he's
Bench.
yeah, he's used to doing it the other way, so he's just going to have to learn that. But and he's got a big personality around the club already, from what I can gather. So he's the sort of guy you want to see succeed, and I think the players love him. So I hope he does well. But yeah, he's got a bit to learn.
Yeah, Patrick Elwood has come into the chat. He's said hello, and Cooper is a natural footballer. Well, he comes from a good family, so
I agree.
I'd expect him to be. So
That is absolutely right. Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. Robert Hansen, also second half in the back line, showed a few signs there, Mark. I thought his skills were elite kicking it out of there. But realistically, could you play Caleb Daniel, Colby McKercher, and maybe a Cooper Harvey or Robert Hansen all together in the back half? It seems
You're definitely not
very
going to play them.
undersized.
No, you're definitely not going to play them all back there. There's only going to be a couple. Robert Hansen Jr. can play halfback, wing, or half forward. He can play a number of positions. Apparently they're very happy with what he does defensively. He is certainly toughened up significantly from 2 or 3 years ago. He's a very different player now than what I saw when he first got to the club. So I think his upside's going to keep going in the right direction, and kicks inside 50, he's as good as anyone at the club. He is a beautiful kick inside 50. The question marks with him has been when his confidence is down, he completely disappears, he drops off. Then he stops going hard at the contest. I'm talking about confidence. I'm not saying he lacks courage. I think that's a nonsense. I think that's more confidence thing. Because he looks like he's toughened right up to me. He looks more confident. He looks bigger, and he looks like he's having more of a crack. But it'll be more him doing that consistently to be able to stay in the side. He'll get opportunity for sure. Because his skills are ridiculous. Like, his kicking skills are amazing.
No, certainly his field kicking is as good as anyone at the club. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
There's just a few. Yeah, there's a few areas of concern with him. I think his attitude, in that VFL game last year. I'll keep going back to that, and I want to start the year fresh. And
are you talking about when he drops his head when things are going?
No,
right?
His attitude in the reserves last year, that last game, he didn't. He really, there was no effort there. He was coasting. Okay. So it was.
So I wonder in that situation where it got to a point where he thought he needs to go back to Perth, WA again, and maybe they've turned that around.
I'm not sure, but he did sign a 1 year extension early in the year last year. So yeah, you don't know what's going on inside an individual's head. We're just sitting here speculating. So but look, he gives us an option there. That's for sure. Patrick Allwood also came in with Trembath. We'll definitely talk about him later and the thoughts there. But we'll go through to midfield, and it's a strong midfield. There's no doubt about that. You got LDU, Sheasel. We don't have to talk about them too much, but my only concern with Mark, and you might have seen it, when they lose a clearance, they lose it quite badly. There's little pressure, and you've seen that. I know we talked about. I know the club talked about the Luke Urquhart goal as an example, but that was far too easy, and we've got to look at the defensive side, especially when we lose a clearance, because that was a problem last year as well, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, okay. Well, this is interesting because Kane Corns has obviously talked about how weak we are defensively and how the midfielders only run one way, and the Sheezies, and now he's had a go at LDU saying he only runs one way. He's got no interest defensively, and he said Parker's got no interest defensively. So he's basically had to go at the whole midfield. Said they've all got no interest defensively. From my understanding, the club has made a decision as a group that they're not going to tolerate that going forward. So we'll only see if that's true. We might not even see it in the practice games. We might not know till round 1 Port Adelaide and see the pressure level that sits from the start till finish in that game. But I think the players understand now that they're not going to ever move forward doing what they've done defensively over the last 3 or 4 years. No. And I think that seems to have been the conversation that's dominated everything else, apart from strategy, everything else. Every player I've heard being with a microphone in front of them has said our focus has been on defence. So
They have talked it up, yeah.
Oh, it's just non-stop. So if they come out round one and their defensive pressure is useless, I mean, I don't want to start being negative, but Clarko will be in big trouble. If they're not prepared to do it, then they're going to have to find someone who can drive that standard. I'm only saying that because I don't believe that'll happen. I think Clarkson he timed when to have that conversation perfectly. And I think he realised that going to this year, they couldn't go on any longer without that. And whatever else he was teaching them is no longer more important than the fact they had to start working for each other defensively. Otherwise, they weren't going to be competitive. Now, if you think about the fact we won 5 games, drew another against Brisbane. So let's say we won against Brisbane by a point and we found a way to win 3 other games. That's 9 wins.
Yeah.
Without doing those things well defensively, he would be, absolutely. He'd be saying to them, do that well. The worst case scenario is 10 wins. You guys have gone from 18, 19 to 21, 22, 23. If you do the right thing this pre-season, that will equal 13 wins. So that's the way it sounds to me when you hear the players talk. So hopefully they'll stay consistent with that because there's enough pressure outside the top 23 players that if you don't do that, you'll be left out of the side. And that's why it's good to see players like Urquhart, playing well like that because I don't think Harvey and Urquhart will be in the starting side necessarily. So there's going to be players like that are going to be putting a lot of pressure on. You've got players like Simpkin on the wing that want to get into the midfield. We've got about half a dozen small forwards who want to get in the side. So there's pressure around the ground to get into that team, and hopefully that'll force them to play a team game.
Patrick Allwood came in and said, "How's Bellina going, Mark? Do you know anything about that?"
Who?
Bellina, Ballli.
Oh, Ballina. No, he's talking about where I live, Ballina.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, there you go. I thought he was talking about a player, but
it's going very bloody well, thanks, mate. It's about 28 degrees and muggy, but apart from that, it's fantastic.
Probably a bit better than where we are
yes.
there, Patrick. So, I think he's living the
is that Patrick? Oh, Patrick. I know who this is. Patrick's family lives in the region. So,
beautiful.
Hello, Patrick. Tell me when you're coming up next. We'll have a beer.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe for the finals. Or something
yes.
Like that, so. Now, CCJ, a lot of people talking about this, that he was in the first team. Now, he's the ruck for the first team. Only played the first half. He's managing his minutes because of a calf injury. No Sherry, obviously, because with the state of origin. But I think Taylor Goad showed a lot more than CCJ. And we've seen that in the third quarter. He seemed to get around pretty well. Took a couple of nice marks. You'd have to think that Taylor Goad will get games this year.
Absolutely, Taylor Goad will play games this year. He looks like a weapon. The guy is lightning fast over the first 20 metres. He's getting strong and he's starting to mark the ball overhead, and he looked dangerous on the forward line. So, I think at the moment, I think the plan looks like Trembath does so much damage as a second ruckman. It looks like that's the role he'll play, but at some point soon, Trembath will be a permanent key forward, pinch hitting in the ruck occasionally, and I think Goad will play as the main second ruckman, who also plays forward as well. So that would mean Darling being out of the side, and I think that'll come sooner rather than later. And I don't mean that as any disrespect to Jack Darling. I just think now that the fact that Trembath has come on as fast as it has, and Goad's looking like that they've got to prioritise their development. That said, they'll prioritise making finals. And if Darling's doing the right thing, then he'll play. But I think Trembath to me is like, it's scary how good he can be. But Goad's not far behind him.
No, definitely. Now, Trent Barth, I want to talk about this as well. He was in the seconds team, Mark, playing as a forward.
Yeah, that made
Uh,
me angry. I don't even.
yeah, well, you right if he isn't in the round one team, Mark.
I'll literally come and burn the club down. I don't. I cannot. I cannot fathom any situation where he won't be in that side. I don't. I mean, I'm being silly, but there is no way he can't. He can't play. Like he, for a guy who's played 3 games of football, came in the mid-season draft. He's a massive presence down forward, and when he goes into the ruck, he's dominating there as well. I mean, he's talented, and you hear the coaches talk about him. They're in awe of what they think he's capable of long term. So yeah, I'll be absolute. I don't think. Look, I don't think him starting the second side meant anything. I think it'd be silly to read too much of that. That guy's so talented. He's already kicked 9 goals in 3 games. Callum Coleman-Jones would only dream of us of doing that in the next 10. So, and I don't mean that as critical of him. I just think Trent Barth is very unusual in terms of his talent.
Yeah, oh, look, there's no doubt about that. But I guess my question to you, Mark, is can you play Larky? I think Darling will play round one and Trent Barth all together. You have Zerha.
I don't think they should. No, I don't think Darling should play round one. I think it should be Larky and Trent Barth with Zerha and
Curtis.
well, and I'd potentially also play Big Game Zane ahead of Darling as well at the moment. As long as he
Well, he was in the
progresses,
seconds team early too. So.
well, as long as he progresses well over the next 3 or 4 weeks, he can't just be gifted a game. I think he's got to keep progressing. But the thing that has excited me more than as much as anything else in the last 2 or 3 weeks has been what seems to be a massive change in attitude from Zane. He looks like he's started to embrace the club and is committed himself to getting better. And I think he's going to have a breakout year. I think the signs are really good from him, not because of his talent, but because of his attitude.
What's his best position, mate?
Third forward, I would say.
So you'd have Larky, Trent Barth, Zerha, Dersma, Curtis. Dalveston has to play. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah, and maybe constantly on the bench somewhere. So there'd be a
That's your
rotation.
7 forwards, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the rotation. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fair enough.
So you're right. You can't play Jack Darling and.
I think they will, Mark.
But,
to be honest, round one.
yeah, I think they will out of obligation, but I don't think they believe that's the next premiership team, and I think that's a mistake.
I won't be panicking if
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
like it's a long year. He's going to get a game. There's no doubt about that. So I won't be panicking if they sort of said, all right.
And I don't think he will anymore. I think he looks very settled and he understands where he sits, and he just looks like happy and he's committed. He's become. It looks like he's around the other players a lot more now, and they sound very supportive of him too when they spoke about him during the coverage. So I mean, Aidan Core did.
Yeah.
So I've read a bit more since then, which really surprised me. So I'm very happy to hear that.
No, definitely. I think Patrick Allwood, who's coming in the chat, he said, "I think you were going to be disappointed, Mark, for round one, but your vision is spot on later in the year." I think it'll only be a few rounds.
That's true.
Look, I think what might happen, I've named Darling round one and Larky. I think Trent Barth might be an emergency. And then...
so not in the side at all?
I don't think he'll be in the round one team, no. At this stage. That could change, though.
I will be very upset. If he's not even playing... If they want to go top heavy and make that mistake, I'll cop that. But he can't leave him out altogether. What's he done wrong?
Nothing. He's done nothing wrong.
3 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, and looked fantastic in the intra-club. I mean... And he's 19 versus a guy who's in his mid-30s. That to me is lunacy. But anyway, I'll sit on that. We'll see what happens.
Well, Darcy Tucker was getting games early last year too.
Yeah, Mark. Were you happy about that?
Yeah, I was delighted. Yeah, for sure. Ahead of Riley Hardeman, it was just an example. That
Well, it's an example of what not to do.
oh, look, there's no
Look
doubt
at
about
Riley
that.
Hardiman. Look
Yeah,
how
he's a gun now.
gun. That's right. Anyway, hopefully they won't make that mistake again. We'll see.
Oh well, I suppose we might find out more over the next couple of weeks when we play Collingwood.
By the way, Riley Hardiman's man, how big is that bloke? He looks like he looks like
he's a senior regular now. He's just going to be a player that does his job every
Hey,
week.
what a year! He's physically built himself up very quick.
Yeah, beautiful left foot as well.
Oh yeah, he's a massive unit.
Yeah, 100%. Future leader of the club as well, I believe, Mark.
I agree.
Small forwards, and Lockie Daviston was impressive, kicking 3 goals in the third quarter. He'll be exciting, won't he? He's a player that opposition teams and opposition supporters love to hate, but I think we kind of need this. We haven't had one since Wayne Carey, Mark, and we had a lot of success when opposition supporters were going at him, but we kind of need that player, like a Nick Watson type, that draws free kicks.
I don't think. I think Curtis Zerha and him are all pretty in-your-face, arrogant, cocky type players, and I don't mean that as people. I just mean in the way they are on the ground. Well, Cam Zerha in particular struts around, and it's always been hard. It's been hard for someone like Cam Zerha to strut around in a team that wins 2 games a year. But I think if suddenly North get on a roll, people like everyone can remember the Curtis game against Carlton last year, where he literally on the MCG, where he looked like he was manhandling them, tossing them around like they were rag dolls, and Zerha was doing the same. And then you add Dovison into that, and a beast like Trembath. Sorry, Jack, darling.
Yeah, he's no slouch either.
Well, and someone like Larkey can just use his footy intelligence to position himself in spots, and he's going to kick 5 or 6 goals just being clever rather than having to dominate. I think they'll be in a great position, and then you're going to have they're going to be at the high half forward, semi mid players like whether it's Powell and those guys, contributing around that as well. Yeah, and I think Parker, Powell, those sort of guys who are going to put pressure on and tackle hard as well while they're in there. So I think I'm very happy with the forward line, very happy with the midfield wings. Obviously, the back line makes us all a bit nervous because it struggled so much in the last 4 or 5 years. But I think they'll get more help from the midfield than they've ever had before in terms of pressure in the forwards. And I think they'll get a more settled back line. Like Hardiman will be a mainstay. Hopefully he doesn't get injured and he's there all year. McKercher seems like he's been told he's playing there all year. I don't mind that at all. So, and then you've got Combin and Logue, if they're not injured, they'll be playing. So you've got almost four or five. The back line seems to be settled. And then, it's just going to be a question of who can. I think Gota needs to. I want Gota to find his way into the back line. I think he'll make a big difference if he can get in there. I'd rather him than Daniel, but I mean, that's a big call given Daniel's a proven player and Gota's been injury riddled, but I just think he's got the talent to make it if he gets a good run at it.
Well, I don't know with Josh Gota. I don't even know if he's alive, Mark, to be honest with you. I haven't seen a pulse from him for about 18 months, so we'll have to wait and see. Patrick Allwood's come in. He said, it seems CCJ's back. He's back, kind of, but he wasn't impressive in the intra-club match. He just get minutes into his body.
I mean, he hasn't played for a few years. He's got.
No, that's right.
He needs games. Yeah, he might well be back, but he probably just needs like 10 or 11 games of footy.
Yeah, Patrick also mentions that the defensive system will depend on how the back line performed this year, and I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, so, I mean, I think I mentioned Lockie Daviston, but you went on started talking about Riley Hardiman, Mark, but just quickly on Lockie Daviston, you're impressed with him, aren't you?
Oh, you can't not be. Guy's kicked 3 goals. He could have kicked 5 easily in that game. He doesn't.
I think he's a better set shot than Nick Watson. I know the player comparison is there, but Nick Watson does spray him when he's having set shots, but his kicking technique was flawless when he was having shots.
It looks very good, yeah. He's not as quick. He's not as quick. He's got a better tank apparently, but he's not. He's very agile. So he's just. I think he's a super smart player. I don't think he's going to be as emotionally up and down as Nick Watson. I think he's going to be more consistent. He's a pest, but I don't think he's. I don't think he's fragile in terms of emotion. I think he'll be consistent most weeks. I reckon he's going to be potentially a 40-goal forward right from the start.
Which
and
is
the
something
play-
I've
and the-
been needing for a long time too.
100%. And I think the players love him. They love his cheek, and he's won them over very quickly. So and they love his personality. And the players sort of say, well, like he wants to be a pest, and that they're open to that. And I think we need that sort of player in our forward line. So yeah, I don't think I think North supporters will love him. I'm not sure about anyone else.
No, that's all right. I don't care. So
No, same here. Yeah.
we kind of need those types of players.
Correct.
Velvet Juzzy came in and he wants to get your thoughts on Finn O'Sullivan, which we'll get to soon. But just small forwards, we've got a few that played. Jake Costanti was in the first team. Zach Bench had spells in the first and second team.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Fisher was mainly in the second team. If you had to pick one out of the three there, who would you have? I think you might have mentioned Costanti.
Yeah, I would pick Costanti because I think he frustrated me last year with his conversion. But his ability to do what he's asked to do for the team, it can't be questioned. He goes hard at the man all game. His pressure. He was the best. He was in the top 2 or 3 players for the club in terms of pressure on the opposition all last year. He was fantastic with that, and he's got a big energy about him. So I think he's a good as a second small forward around Doveston and Curtis. Or third small forward, I should say, around those two. I think he's the right person at the moment. Banch has had a big preseason, though, apparently, but he didn't do enough in that game to change my mind quite yet. But he will get his chance. But I don't think he was better than Constantine the other day, to be honest.
Yeah, I still worry about the conversion with Costanti.
Yes, definitely.
That's probably his big weakness. I think he kicked 1 goal on his last 8 or 9
and now he's trying to give it away, which is not good either. So
he's got it, especially in intra-club matches.
Yeah, he's got to take it. Yeah,
100%. But Clarko does love those role players that just stick to a role for the team, like a Paul Puopolo. Nothing fancy. They just play a role for the team. He did that with Kane Turner in his first year at the club.
Well, eventually, if you have these guys that are told you just do the right thing, we'll always back you. They eventually have enough confidence to start converting anyway, because they don't feel like they're under pressure. So they end up doing the right, performing the way you want them to. So, look, I think he'll end up being that guy. Constanti, he's desperate, absolutely desperate to succeed. So I'd love to see him do well, but I think Banch. Oh, well, you'd want him to do well because we picked him before Trembath in the mid-season draft. So. I'll see how he develops during the year. But, at the moment, Constanti, I think, is ahead of him.
Yeah, just with Costanti, I liked the role. I remember GWS last year, played a really good role on Lockie Ash. He was getting 25, 30 touches a game there for a period, and I think he kept him down to 14, 15 in a game. And I think that's a good role. Like, I think we've got Port Adelaide round 1, maybe a role on Connor Rosie, who's playing half back.
Yeah. And that's exactly the point with him. He can flick to that type of role, and he won't bat an eyelid.
Yeah, I think that's a sort of role. Like, he's not going to be an offensive player. He's never going to be that. But
he would be if he could kick straight.
That's the problem. I don't think he can kick straight. But look, I was impressed with. I don't know about you, Mark, but I was actually a little bit impressed with Zach Fisher as a small forward. He's zippy. He was getting around. He gets front squares. So.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of him as a small forward.
I think he should play, Mark. So
he will get his chance at some point.
Yeah, I think he will too. He's still easing into pre-season. I think he's had a couple.
Well, funnily enough, you'd be surprised. He's younger. He'd be younger than Pink.
Yeah, he's 27.
Yeah, there you go. So he's younger than Pink. So he's got 4 or 5 years left in his AFL career if he can make it happen. But I reckon he needs to have a good year. But he's capable. He'll
I think the talent's there, yeah, 100%.
if he does all the defensive things well, then yeah, he'll get his chance and he might do very well. You never know.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. Now, Cameron Zerha is an interesting one here, Mark. Now, I want to talk about this. There's talk they may send him back towards the end of quarters because past history would suggest that we have problems conceding red time goals. Would you be on board with that? With about 3 minutes to go in a quarter and putting Zerha back there as a spare just to stop goals? Like, it's happened far too often in the last few years, Mark, where we conceded 3 or 4 goals in the last 5 minutes of
It's
the
not
quarter.
it's not a stupid idea, but
No, I don't mind it.
I'd send Finn O'Sullivan back there, given that he's played back there, and now we're going to move him up the ground. He to me's got the smarts and the calm head that he'd be the one I'd put straight back there. I mean, I know one of the guys came on and wanted to talk about him earlier. Clearly, he's going to play a lot more midfield this year and probably forward of the ball. But if you got into red time in Fremantle, I'd be sending him back as a spare for sure. Like he looked great in that role last year. He's very calm. He's great overhead. He won't be rushed. Won't make decisions. I don't know why you'd put Cam there, given he's never played there, whereas Finn O'Sullivan just played a whole season there. So that would make more sense to me. But I'm not against it, the idea. But I I'd prefer to put someone like Finn O'Sullivan back there personally.
Yeah, Patrick Allwood's just asking the same sort of question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they just want to drop because Finn O'Sullivan may play wing midfield this year. We're going to talk about him in a minute. Whether they looking for a forward that can drop back there. I'd always even go Paul Curtis or.
So put it this way: so you'd have Finn O'Sullivan playing wing midfield. He's in a rotation. So if he's on the bench and they want to send someone back,
Yeah, I
go
suppose
on.
you could do that. Yeah.
on you go and play that role and take a forward off the ground and send Finn O'Sullivan straight to the back line. It's not hard. But anyway, I don't know why they're complicated by putting Cam there who's never played there in the last 10 years. That said, if they practice it all through pre-season and it's working, yeah, fine.
Yeah, look, it might be just experimentation. I'm interested to see if they're going to do that against the D's this week. I think this week they do this, and I think
I heard constantly they were looking at.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But I've seen nothing of that. I don't know where that's come from. I wanted to.
Likely.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Like, you can't just keep throwing everyone back because you've got too many small forwards. Just keep putting them all in the back line. We've already put Harvey back there. How many more are we going to put? Maybe stop recruiting them if you don't want any more small forwards. Recruit some defenders anyway. I think Harvey going back's enough. I'm not sure how many more we need to send back.
Nah, it seems like almost a death sentence with some of our players. Like I think me and Jesse have joked about it in the previous years. Like if you're struggling as a forward or a mid or something like that, we always put the players as on the half back flank, and it always feels like a last hurrah in their careers. But I heard the Costanti one that they're looking at a left-hand defender.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's still a hole that we've got at the moment. But we might as well go to Finn O'Sullivan. And he played a few roles last week, but he looks like he will step up and play some midfield minutes this year, and he looks really exciting, Mark.
Well, he's put on some weight, and it hasn't hurt him, that's for sure. He took that screamer as well during the game. Mate, he's a beautiful kick, beautifully balanced. For the older audience out there, they might remember Keith Gregg. He moves the same way.
Yeah.
He moves the same way Keith Gregg used to move. He looks slow, but he's not. But he's got so much time. He's never rushed. He's like a Mark Waugh, a footy. Pendlebury's similar, that sort of player in a way, but he's obviously a smoother mover than Pendlebury. A bit quicker, but yeah, that sort of player that's always got time, never seems to be rushed, makes good decisions, and he's tough as well. He's just a good country boy. He's going to be a great player for us. He's one of the best pickups we've had. Like he's probably underrated because we've got McKercher and all these guys that have come through, like Wardlaw and Sheasel, that have been very exciting over the last 5 or 6 years. But he's as good as any of them. And he's only been in the system for 1 year, so The upside's fantastic, but I mean, we've got plenty of mids. It's the good thing is, and I think one of the coaches said he can play anywhere, and so can McKercher. So these guys are good. They don't have to play midfield. Whereas I feel like with Powell, as an example, I find they're finding it's difficult to put him in a position where he's not playing midfield that works.
Yeah, still working it out, aren't they?
Yeah, they still. It feels like they're trying to find it, and then you got you'll get a player like Simpkin who, if he's not in the midfield, he's unhappy. Whereas McKercher and Finn O'Sullivan don't seem to care. Like, yep, I'll dominate wherever you put me, sort of thing. Whereas those guys go, oh, no, I'm in the midfield, or I'm not happy. And I think the modern play, and you have to look at Dacos, Collingwood. He doesn't care where he's thrown. He'll go back, he'll go forward. If I'm being tagged, I'll go to the goal square, whatever. Like, you just can't be, you've got to be able to move around now. And I think that's where Clarkson's been right the last 3 or 4 years. He's kept saying to all of them, you've got to be able to play multiple positions because things keep changing all the time in AFL footy. And our situation with the players and who fits where is like Coleman, I would have thought 3 years ago, I thought he was a forward or bust. And he's gone back, and now he's not even thought about as a forward. Like, even a year ago, Clarkson was saying, oh, we're just playing him there now, but eventually we're going to put him forward. And then suddenly you got Trembath and, Darlings at the club and everything else, and you go, well, hold on, no, there's no room for Coleman back forward. He's got to stay back. So things change quickly. You've got to be able to play different positions. And I think that's one area I agree with Clarkson. There's no point having a set mindset where I want to be inside mid or I'm out, which our captain obviously had that thinking during the off-season. And even he's probably thought to himself, maybe that wasn't, the best way to think, and he's changed. And hopefully he'll be a great player for us on the wing this year. That's going to be interesting to watch. But he's certainly done the right things pre-season wise.
No, it definitely has. And I think probably you predominantly play on the wing, but he might have spells in the midfield, especially if you get 1 or 2 injuries. I think he's a natural to just go straight in there.
For sure.
Another forward that we didn't talk about was mainly in the seconds team, but Matt Whitlock kicked 5 goals. And it looks like a player that may develop his craft in the forward line this year, probably in the VFL mainly. He seems more suited to the forward half role in the back line, where he played the first half of the year last year in the VFL. And he played a senior game as a forward last year as well, towards the end of the year. Kicked some goals and has a beautiful set shot routine as well, doesn't he, Mark?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I forgot about his game. He looks like the sort of guy who he just reads the play so well. Like you're right, he's a natural forward. Get to your point about him finding it easy on the forward line. I think I think that's part of that's to do with the fact he's probably about 8 kilos short of where they want him to be long term, muscle wise. That would make it easy for him to play in the back line. But on the forward line, he doesn't necessarily have to carry that weight because his footy smarts mean he doesn't have to use his body weight to give himself any type of advantage in a contest because he's moving and getting to the right spots. He's very good on the lead. He's clever on the lead, apparently. They keep saying that. Added Core made comments about that.
Yeah.
Things. So I think at the moment, I reckon he'll be able to play either because he'll be smart on either end, but he's not strong enough to play as a defender yet, I don't think. But he'll be capable of playing either end. But he's a very talented footballer, like very smart player. This will be the last year he plays in the VFL, I think. Absolutely, I think he'll one way or another he'll be at one end of the ground or the other from next year onwards. I mean, if I can see a world where Trembath, Whitlock, and Larkey play all on the same forward line.
Yeah, look, it's a strong possibility. That's for sure. And there's nothing wrong with developing in the VFL this year, where he plays 15 to 20 games in the VFL. There's nothing wrong with that if we've got a full healthy team
Of
and
course.
winning games.
5 games in the seniors would be perfect for him this year.
Look, if he plays 15 games in the VFL, he probably kicks 50, 60 goals. And that's a really good sign. So,
that's what Larkey did when he was that age and he was skinny. He was a skinny, tall forward. Same sort of player, super smart, too skinny early on. Play first game in the AFL, obviously got no no possessions, but Scott said the same thing. He was in the right spot the whole game. He just couldn't do anything with it. But I think they're not that dissimilar. He's more of an athlete with Lock than Larky, but Larky's one of the smartest players in the comp. Seems the way to go. I think Whitlock's similar. That's his strength. He's very clever.
No,
beautiful kick. You're right though too. By the way, beautiful kick.
They're all going straight over the goal umpire's head on a windy day as well. It wasn't easy, that's for sure. Now we move forward to this Friday against the D's in our first real pre-season test. Are you looking to see anything in particular this week?
Yeah, I think we need to see defensive pressure straight away against opposition. If they're getting easy goals, that won't be a good look for us. I don't mind if we make a few mistakes, but I think, defensive pressure's got to... If they've been talking the whole summer about how much they've improved that, and the first time they play against opposition, they're running into open goal without any pressure, and they're running it out of the middle and out of the back line again, that won't be good. So, that's all. Look, if we win or lose, I just want to see that. If we do that, I think we'll win anyway, to be honest. But I just want to see them being... I want them to say, we haven't just been talking about it. This is part of how we play now, and put it on show. They can miss kicks, they can make mistakes, but don't get that wrong. I think that would be real. I think most supporters would be upset if they saw the opposition just running around doing whatever they like.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, Patrick Allwood's asking about Bailey Scott. He was named in the first team. Was fairly quiet, but I think there's a long way to go.
Yeah.
After a poor year last year, to regain the trust that he's going to be a regular senior contributor this year, Buck. I think he's down the pecking order. You've got Dylan Stevens, Finn O'Sullivan, Jai Simpkin on the wing now. They're ahead of him. Probably.
It's a good question.
But he's out of contract, and at this stage, he's probably looking like this might be his last year. I think he'll come good. I think it'll be injuries and wing or half back, and he's going to have to play well when he gets his chance. But I think he's too good a player to just disappear out of the club and out of the AFL. I think I agree with you. There's a number of players well in front of him now. I don't think he starts in the side. I think he'll have to wait till injuries give him an opportunity. But at his best, I thought he was really good. So I'd like to see him come back. But he's a fair way behind at the moment. Well, he had back-to-back third-place finishes in the best and fairest.
That's right.
Before last year, so I don't know what happened with him.
He's quick. He's quick, and he's got good disposal. So I'd like to see him do well, because I think he's a talented player. But he's had one shocking year.
Yeah. But that's all it takes sometimes. So.
Yeah. That's right, but that doesn't
mean
that...
That's the nature of the business.
Yeah, that's right, but he's not like he's old. He's not 35. He's like...
No, he's about 25, 26, so...
Yeah, that's right. He should easily be able to bounce back, so we'll just have to wait and see.
No, that's exactly right. So, and I think this weekend on Friday, I think 30 players are selected. I mean, it's just about getting more reps and run in the legs for the team. Yeah, I mean, you're sort of half interested in the result. I'm not too stressed about the result, but I mean, do you want to see anything in particular besides defensive pressure, or is it just about defensive pressure and having a system in place?
No, I don't care about the result. I'd like to see the backline gel.
Yeah.
If the backline gel, defensive pressure's good. I'm that confident about our midfield and forward line. Like Curtis looked like he was just doing what he needed to do, and he was they had there was no one that was going to be able to stop Paul Curtis on Friday afternoon. Yeah. He looks like he's an actually I won't say that. If he stays injury free, I can't see him missing the All-Australian side.
And that's coming off a very serious illness just a couple of months ago too.
Yeah, well, the way he looked on Friday night, if he's not suspended again and he can stay injury-free, he kicked 38 goals last year with that suspension of 3 weeks. I think he had another suspension too, so it might have been 4 or
Yeah, he
5
might have
weeks.
got 4 weeks all up. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's kicked 38 goals with that going on in a side that's won 5 games. That guy could easily kick 50 goals. So um, there's plenty to like on our forward line. I'm not worried about the forward line. And then you got Trembath coming in, you got Doveston coming in. I think they're only going to get better there, and the midfield should only get better when you talk about young guys with an extra pre-season under their belt, and Finn O'Sullivan going in there. McKercher should be a better player, although he'll be more off the back line. So it's just a question of how they play defensively and how the back line plays defensively. If they can get those things right, the upside should be huge. So, look, I don't care if we win or lose against Melbourne. I really couldn't care less. But I want to see the defensive pressure strong, and I want to see the back half be a bit better than what I saw on the last weekend.
Yeah, you want to see a little sign of growth that they've worked on something pretty hard in the pre-season. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see over the next couple of weeks how they go against Melbourne and Collingwood. So we seem to always get those teams every year in the practice matches.
Yeah, we do. That's true.
Yeah, and we have to go to that shithole.
I haven't thought about that, but you're dead right. That's been the last 3 years played those anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit strange how they do that every year, but I don't know. It's up to them. They've probably just got a handshake agreement between those clubs.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, the Charlie Spargo revenge game, possibly, mate. So. Anyways, Mark, that's all I have for you tonight. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, I'm feeling good. I reckon we're in for a big year.
Yep, Mark. Now, I did see in the text message, on the WhatsApp message, in the group message that we have, you said 14 to 15 wins.
Oh, you're gonna call me out on that. You're gonna publicly expose me. Yes.
And Jesse replied with saying a little early for wine. Mark, don't you think, or something?
No, well, that was at 8 a.m. this morning. I sent that to chat, so it would have been too early for wine. I've had a few since then, but I will say, I do think we are capable of a massive jump up the ladder this year. I think had we won those 8 or 9 games last year, everyone would be going, well, we should win 13 or 14 this year. So I'm looking at 10 as a worst case scenario and 10 or 13 wins. I think there's 3 or 4 players that could play All Australian, and I think there's 2 or 3 that could win Rising Star, Trembath and Doveston amongst them. So I just think we've been beaten down so much that it's hard for anyone to expect much good to happen. But I think we are finally going to see some great things happen this year. We'll see.
And Zach Fisher is most improved as well, Mark. You forgot
Oh, yes, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, Mark, I think I've held you up long enough. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. It was interesting to get your thoughts on some positional changes for players throughout the pre-season and in intra-club match. It's going to be interesting to get your thoughts over the next few weeks as well, as long as you're available, not caddying on the PGA Tour. That'll be good. But I really appreciate you coming on tonight, Mark, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Always fun, mate. I think it's going to be a fun year for everyone.
Well, we certainly hope so. Very exciting times. And thank you to all you listeners as well. It's been a pleasure with Mark, catching up with him. I'll be back maybe later this week. Might go through some team news if they come out on Thursday. I'm not too sure if they are. Just talk about that quickly. But don't forget to like, subscribe. Tell Mark what a great job he's done tonight. I'm sure he really appreciate it. And you've set the bar too low, Mark. Maybe just tell him that. 14, 15 wins is enough. We're going to win 20. But that's it from me. Bye for now.